so. Oh, my mic isn't on. Is yours?
Yes.
Well, you may have heard me, but I said welcome. For the next 10 minutes or so as the music plays, we invite you to just relax, close your eyes, rest in the presence, and hold space.
Ganapataye namo namaha. Ganapataye namo namaha. Ganapataye namo namaha. Jai Ganesha Gananatha Dayaniti Sakala Vignakara Dura Hamari. Jai Ganesha Gananatha Dayaniti Sakala Vignakara Dura Hamari. Ni Jai Ganesha Gananatha Dayaniti Sakala Vignakara Dura Hamari. Jai Ganesha Gananatha Dayaniti Sakala Vignakara Dura Hamari. Namo Namah
Namaste, and welcome to our weekly online satsang. This satsang is open to everybody, and we have people join us from other countries, other continents, from the other side of the planet, which is one of the beautiful things about using the internet for spiritual satsang. Satsang is a Sanskrit word that means community of truth. So wherever you have a community, two or more people who are on the path of awakening and flowering into oneness with the divine and with all that is, you've got a satsang. And we multiply one another's strength. It's a beautiful thing about coming together. Our light is multiplied when we join together with each other like this. So, welcome. We share throughout the satsang something that we call the flowering heart blessing, because it makes your heart flower. How many years ago has it been now?
9?
Yeah, going on about 9 years. The divine shared with Suzanne and me this blessing that was new to us. We've been involved in energy and spiritual transfers for decades. And for me, over 50 years, and Suzanne's barely older than that. Not even, she's, what are you? Oops. Anyway, but this was new, and the divine said, start sharing this. And Suzanne had kind of posed the question, well, I wonder what a flowering heart blessing would be like. And boom, it just came pouring down the light from into our hearts and caused our hearts to just explode like a supernova of light and love and life. And the divine said, share that. I went, okay. The divine said, it's not yours though. I'm not giving it to you. I'm just pouring it through you. And anyone else who wants to be an instrument for me, don't charge for it. It's my gift. It's grace, and I give it to anyone I please. And let people know when they've received it just once, they're initiated to be able to give it. All you need to do is offer yourself to the divine and invite the presence to pour the flowering heart blessing through you, and the divine does all the rest. You don't need to really know anymore. If you want to know more, we have a lot of information on our website at floweringheart.org. There's a 36-minute initiation video. Of course, here you are soaking in the blessing right now. You're already initiated. But if you'd like to know more and maybe introduce this blessing to other people, all you have to do is open your laptop or turn on your computer and hit play, because that 36-minute video is in several places on our website, including the home page. We invite you to use it. You can download it. You can invite 1 or 2 other people and just hit the play button, and 36 minutes later, you will have a blessing circle that is ready to share, and with a lot of grace and presence flowing through it. So, encourage you to do that. If you don't have a blessing group where you are, start one. Hands-on divine blessings accelerates the journey of transformation so amazingly that you must have it. So please do that where you are. Before I forget, whoever's with us tonight and whoever watches this video at any time in the future, please give us a like or a love if you're on Facebook Live. If you watch it on Vimeo, then just enter in the chat, hi, it's me. Give us your real name, not some tag we won't understand. And then I always look for week to week who's dropped in to watch, because many, many more people watch the videos of these satsangs between one Monday to the next because of their schedule or where they are in the world or whatever. And I like to go in and see who visited, and we send you special blessings and hugs. So we appreciate that. What other news?
Yesterday?
Yesterday was news, yes. Yesterday we had, it seems like a week.
It does.
So much has been going on. We had our monthly interfaith communion with the Cosmic Christ, which is exactly what it says. It's interfaith. It's not just for Christians or even believers. It's for people that would like to experience the presence of the Cosmic Christ, which is the spark of divinity, of love and compassion and presence at the heart of everything in creation. There is this spark of the divine that holds the blueprint for transformation. And that's the Cosmic Christ. It's always existed, always will. Many people are experiencing the Cosmic Christ these days because they're feeling the call to the heart path. Whether they are Sufis or Mahayana Buddhists or New Age believers or something else, something that has no name. People are beginning to experience that presence of pure love emanating from their hearts, and it's becoming the center of their spiritual journey. So connecting with the Cosmic Christ is a wonderful help along the way. And anyway, we did that yesterday, and the subject, the meditation, the teaching was the Beatitudes, which are the essential teachings of Christ and the keys to ultimate blessing and happiness. And they're really just 8 statements that are the heart of Christ's teaching. And it turned religion in Jesus' day on its head. And it's still turning everything. If you read the Sermon on the Mount, the Beatitudes are the beginning of the Sermon on the Mount, which is the entire quintessential teaching of Christ. And he just takes everything that you've been programmed, to assume about religion or spirituality and just flips it upside down. And it's very radical and transforming. So anyway, you can watch that video. It's on Vimeo, but it's right here on my profile page on Facebook Live. It'll stay there as long as Facebook leaves it up, I guess. I think you might enjoy it. We like to open it. Oh, well, before I forget, happy Thanksgiving if you're in the USA. Thursday is a celebration of Thanksgiving for blessings, the blessings of friends and neighbors and the divine, and centers around actually the initial encounter between the pilgrims from Europe and the Native Americans in the northeastern United States. And they wouldn't have survived if it hadn't have been for the compassion, the kindness, and the generosity of the Native Americans. And I am so sad to say that we did not pay them back well. The diseases that came over from Europe were destructive of whole Native American races. And then all the violence and stealing land that the Native Americans were on top of it. They said land belongs to no one but the Great Spirit. So we can't sell it to you and you can't own it. And they were right. But anyway, so some folks have a really bittersweet and sometimes even more bitter feeling about the celebration of Thanksgiving. But for the most part, families get together and share these feasts and lots of love as we head into the winter holidays. So that's happening this Thursday. And for anyone who wondered, we are having our in-house Satsang Wednesday night. And before that, Qigong and Taoist meditation, and our blessing circle after that. And the Satsang we have every Wednesday night here in our center in Clearwater, Florida. So if you can join us, we would love to have you. And what else? I think that's it for announcements. In which case, we like to open it to questions and answers. If you've got answers and insights about the spiritual journey, we all have certain points about our understanding of spirituality and the journey of awakening and transformation we're on that it could use some more clarity, some more light. And when you ask your questions, whether it's about something you're encountering in meditation or prayer, you're wondering about past lives or future lives or other dimensions of existence, whatever it might be, it seems to move the divine to give Suzanne and me inspiration to share with you. And we all benefit from that. So we invite you to look inside and ask that divine presence who lives in you, is there a question I might share tonight that would stimulate the conversation in the satsang? That's your part. So you don't have to do it, but it would really be great if you did. And while we're waiting for you to get that inspiration in your heart, I like to share these little articles and lists of quotes from a website called inspiringquotes.com. There's a group of authors that write timely and relevant articles of just 2 or 3 paragraphs and then share quotes from illuminated and amazing spiritual beings and authors and artists and writers from throughout time that shed light on the subject. This one tonight is by Tony Donnell. And we've shared quite a few articles from Tony. And Tony's an English writer of nonfiction and fiction, living on the edge of the Amazon jungle. I just like to say that every time he comes up. Suzanne and I have spent some time in South America. I lived there many years ago in Bolivia, and we love South America. So, and the Amazon, and the Andes. Oof. Okay, so tonight's article and list of quotes is about dealing with trauma. Trauma, as a concept, is complicated. The word comes from the ancient Greek for wound and was originally used only for physical injuries. Since the end of the 19th century, however, the term has also been applied psychologically to refer to severe mental or emotional stress. The recognition of emotional trauma has long been highlighted by war. During World War I, it was known as shell shock, and soldiers suffering from the condition were often ignored or berated. Later, in the aftermath of the Vietnam War, the term post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, came into use following numerous diagnoses of military veterans. Today, PTSD is diagnosed for a wide range of emotionally or physically traumatic events, from war to abuse to tragic accidents or loss. Smaller and at times less obviously traumatic experiences can also be debilitating. For this reason, some medical experts divide trauma into big T and little t categories, with the little t traumas covering events such as divorce, financial worries, and the loss of a job, none of which are likely to lead to post-traumatic stress symptoms, but can nonetheless be incredibly difficult and disruptive to daily life, challenging our ability to feel healthy and happy. Many people experience trauma during their lives, be it big T or little t or both. The process of healing can be quite long, but overcoming trauma is certainly possible. The following quotes from psychotherapists, famous authors, and others shine a light on the road to recovery. Before I dive into these, when I was reading, what he was saying were little traumas, like divorce, financial worries, and the loss of a job. And it made me wonder if he's ever experienced it. Because I think that divorce can be incredibly destructive, emotionally, psychologically, and to people's health, you know. No less than losing a loved one who passes away unexpectedly, which is generally a big T. And certainly financial worries and the loss of a job can be quite traumatic, especially if there are obligations and there's family involved. So don't think we're just shoving your trauma into the little t category. That's all I'm saying. Okay, here are the quotes that Tony has selected to share with us. To survive trauma, one must be able to tell a story about it. Natasha Trethewey. When we can talk about our feelings, they become less overwhelming, less upsetting, and less scary. The people we trust with that important talk can help us know that we're not alone. Fred Rogers.
Oh.
We may not be responsible for the world that created our minds, but we can take responsibility for the mind with which we create our world. Gabor Mate. As every therapist will tell you, healing involves discomfort. But so does refusing to heal. And over time, refusing to heal is always more painful. Rasma Menachem. While trauma can be hell on earth, trauma resolved is a gift of the gods, a heroic journey that belongs to each of us. Peter A. Levine. You may not control all the events that happen to you, but you can decide not to be reduced by them. Maya Angelou. Trauma is like grief. You can be fine for 4 or 5 years. Then it comes back and hits you like it happened the day before. But then you can heal. You can find ways to love yourself, to be a valid member of society, to give back. Samantha Morton. So many people with trauma feel like they're failing because they have a bad day or a bad week or a bad year. And you know what? If you wake up, you're not failing. If you brush your teeth, you're not failing. Roxane Gay. The trauma we inherit or experience firsthand can not only create a legacy of distress, but also forge a legacy of strength and resilience that can be felt for generations to come. Mark Wallen. Very often, what happened takes years to reveal itself. It takes courage to confront our actions, peel back the layers of trauma in our lives, and expose the raw truth of our past. But this is where healing begins. Oprah Winfrey. One of the hardest things was learning I was worth recovery. Demi Lovato. Healing is not a one-time event, but rather a journey. As it relates to healing the wounds of trauma. It is a journey from helplessness, which is the essence of trauma, to mastery. Jasmine Lee Corey. I've been searching for ways to heal myself, and I've found that kindness is the best way. Lady Gaga. Someone who has experienced trauma also has gifts to offer all of us. In their depth, their knowledge of our universal vulnerability, and their experience of the power of compassion. Sharon Salzberg. And there you have it.
Beautiful.
You know, this is a big thing these days. So many people have experienced trauma.
Mm-hmm.
One of those quotes said, a couple of them referred to talking about your feelings. Some of the people that I know about and have encountered with PTSD from war find it very difficult and sometimes impossible at first to talk about it.
Yeah.
Because it's just too horrible to put into words.
Yeah.
And it can reach the point where that's so toxic, they can't even look themselves in the mirror, and it takes tremendous grace. And there are wonderful modalities to discover. Breath work, evidently, holotropic breath work is a great tool to help bring up those buried traumas as energy, as pure energy, being moved by breath. And certainly meditation, contemplative prayer is very helpful. But it's worth doing.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, just recently with all the hurricanes and people's houses getting flooded, I noticed that about the process of trauma, and we had friends call us, and we'd have an hour, 2 hour, 3 hour conversation, and just having somebody there. We stay up late. I stay up later than Michael, so and nighttime seems to be the hardest when people are trying to process this stuff. So I noticed how important it was. It'd start with crying and end up with laughing, and just being able to share your feelings and work through that process. I've learned a lot the last couple of months about trauma and loss.
When we do find a person that we trust and have rapport of heart with, that we can share our trauma.
Mm-hmm.
And grief is a kind of trauma for sure. It lightens the load tremendously. And there are many, many beautiful spiritual teachers and ministers and mental health counselors that I don't want to say do it professionally, but I mean it's their life's calling. It's their life's calling.
Right.
And I know many. I mean, I've been an ordained minister for many, many years, over half a century now. Yikes! And I've known so many others, and we work with so many people involved in the mental health community, and so just don't get walled off in isolation.
And if you see somebody that needs help, just remember that, kind words, like one of those said, and they can go a really, really long way.
Indeed.
Just to feel like somebody's there and supportive and caring.
Well. There we go. Had to refresh the page. You're welcome, Stacy. And Julio. Hello, Julio. So much love. Hello, Michael and Suzanne. Much love, light, and blessings to you both and the whole mankind.
Nice.
Indeed. Yes. And Stacy had written namaste and thank you, Michael and Suzanne. And Stacy wrote this: on the subject of trauma, It's been said that talk therapy can be counterproductive to the healing process and reinforce memories. Would you say prayer and meditation are good tactics or practices for healing trauma? Well, yes, indeed. Prayer and meditation are good tools that can be helpful. It can take a long time with contemplative prayer and with meditation. But the core of it is to embrace the feelings, the emotions that have been so deeply bound up and buried. And true, in the beginning, I think words don't get at it, but I'm not sure what talk therapy even is. I mean, words are very powerful. And when someone who has been traumatized is able, I think that the key is to encounter, experience, and release the trauma, of course. But being able to talk about it, especially with a trusted ally, is very liberating. So I'm not sure, I mean, intellectual psychoanalysis is not going to help PTSD. Well, but I said psychoanalysis. Psychotherapy includes all of these therapeutic things we've spoken about: breath work and meditation, but
I think for me, my experience with helping these friends out is just really being there to listen and compassion and agreeing with them how horrible it was, and just having somebody there that you can commiserate with. And it's not about getting stuck in the story, but one of those quotes said, to be able to talk about it allows you to heal. Because, I mean, most of them had nightmares and had dreams of drowning and couldn't find any of their things anywhere, and it was affecting their sleep, and they weren't able to eat, and just some pretty major symptoms and side effects. So just having somebody to sit there and listen to them while they cried and while they talked about their loss and their experience, and then cycling through that until we came to a place where we were just laughing. And it was always the next day they would text me and say, "Thank you so much, I really, really needed that." And it just lightened it up a little bit. And then maybe a week later they would call us again, and we would go through that process, but it was a little less heavy than it was the week before. So just kind of knowing that somebody's there for you. And I've seen other people that went through this experience that aren't as outgoing or don't reach out as much, and they're handling it in a totally different way. They're, kind of angry and bitter and really, really, really upset, but not in a way where they're looking at healing at all. They're kind of stuck in that. So we've really been trying to reach out to people and make sure that they feel loved and supported, and if they need any help with anything or stuff like that, just to know that somebody's there.
There's a process. We take people through processes in some of our longer courses, residential courses, that in India is called samskara shuddhi. Samskaras are like wounds, or really scars that are all around our hearts because of traumas and hurts that we've experienced through life. Shuddhi means to release, to clear, to wash away. So samskara shuddhi is the dissolving and the releasing of this traumatic material. It's got basically nothing much to do with words. It's got to do with the invitation and the presence, the divine presence, pouring out grace to surface that buried material, which gives the person who's healing an opportunity. Anyway, Lee, you may be alone at the moment, but you're not really. Lee is watching on Vimeo, and the question that Lee has asked is, spiritual awakening, what does that look like? And what to do during a spiritual awakening? Spiritual awakening means different things to different people, I think. If we're talking about the path to divine union, spiritual awakening is awakening to the reality that the divine presence in all of its fullness lives inside of us. And to connect with that. When that connection is made, the heart begins to flower, and the divine grace begins to transform and penetrate every layer of our being and draw it into oneness with the divine presence. Other people, some other traditions focus more on awakening from the delusions of the mind to perceive reality as it is more accurately. For instance, the mind of most people on earth has been conditioned to experience themselves as a separate entity with sort of distance between them and other people. And the ego is what results, because the ego's the part of us that's protecting us from the danger of all these other people. Well, the truth is we're all manifestations of one being. And so to awaken from the illusion of separate existence or duality, duality between us and others, between us and the universe and nature, between us and the divine source, to dissolve that illusion of the mind and to awaken the spirit to perceive reality, which is you're one with God, you're one with the universe. You are an expression of the consciousness of the universe itself expressing through you. We are the same being, but our minds have been programmed to not feel that or see that. And a lot of bad teaching and bad training has told people that there's a huge gulf, a separation in time and space between them and the source of the universe. Call that God or the divine or source. And there is no distance. Spirit is everywhere. And so the divine is also everywhere. It's impossible for there to be any distance between you and the divine source, or you would just cease to exist. Everything exists within the consciousness of this divine source, the being of the universe. So what it looks like when people begin to awaken is varied from individual to individual. Some people encounter the divine in a highly personal way that's very exuberant and exciting. For other people, it's much more tame. And what begins to happen is that the ego begins to dissolve and lose its grip, and the individual begins to see the oneness of all things, the interconnectedness of all things. Different traditions have all these explanations. I mean, in the different Buddhist schools, there are all these levels of awakening that are highly defined, and it's valid. But what it looks like is that we're awakening from the illusion of being a separate being with a beginning and an end to realizing the truth that we are eternal spirit beings. Spirit is beyond time and space, as I said that about the divine, but that's true about you. That you are a spirit being having a human experience, but that spirit that you are, which is the source of your life and your consciousness, is without beginning and without end. There is no death for spirit. There may be for your physical body, but certainly not for who you are as a conscious being. And so as that awareness begins to dawn, not just the concept from hearing me talk or reading a book or some philosophical or spiritual teaching, but when that becomes a living experience for the individual. It's incredibly transforming.
When Michael and I first got together, he said, you're as dead as you're ever going to be. It took me a couple weeks to wrap my brain around that because I didn't quite understand what it meant, but now I do.
Yeah. So, there it is.
There it is.
One thing I didn't mention about trauma and things like PTSD, that many people seem to find it very helpful to gather with others who are also experiencing trauma.
Support groups and
Yes.
yeah.
Very important
Yeah.
for the healing process for most people with genuine PTSD.
Right. And these people that we have been talking with and helping out, we met them on the beach, taking walks and sitting at sunset and stuff. So it's become really important on days that are nice, not cold and windy, to gather at sunset and just have that feeling of friendship and communion and peace for a little slice of the day. Yeah.
Yes, indeed. And I think that's it, too,
Yeah.
for the questions. Wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you again, Stacy.
And Lee.
And Lee. That's right.
We haven't had one from Vimeo in a long time.
It's always there.
I know.
And I always check.
Yeah.
So you're not alone. Some of these other people that we've been discoursing with, Lee, are watching on Facebook Live, which you would always be welcome to do. But Vimeo is our streaming platform, so you've gone to the source. So let's close our eyes and invoke the Divine Presence who lives within us in all of its fullness. The great Sufi mystic Rumi said, "You are not the entire ocean of the universe in a drop. You are. Well, I just blew the whole quote. You are not a drop of the ocean, you are the entire ocean in a drop. It's all inside of you. The entire universe is inside of you." This divine presence who lives in you is pure love. Oh, such bad teaching made people be afraid of God and judgment. This divine being is unconditionally loving. It loves you exactly as you are and yearns to free you from suffering, to awaken your spirit, and to draw you into oneness with itself. We've been struggling, humanity, for countless millennia to achieve that union with Source, and all we need to do is surrender to grace. Relax. Yield to the love that is drawing you into the center. Allow the divine to have its way. This being is all-knowing. It knows everything about you. There's nothing you really need to say. It's all-wise. It knows exactly how to get you from where you are to where you want to be, to where you need to be. Just receive the blessing that's pouring out to you. Soak it in, drink it in, breathe it in. Relax and dissolve in the presence. the presence yearns to dissolve the veil that blinds your mind from seeing the light of truth. Just receive and allow. And the divine will dissolve the wrong thinking, will dissolve the negative emotions and emotional patterns and programming and replace it with illuminated thoughts, inspired feelings and ideas and plans. It will shine and flood your physical body with healing grace. It is all powerful and yearns to heal you. Receive. Yearns to fill your entire life, spirit, soul, your mind and your feelings and your body and your relationships with light and love and healing. Imagine that we're sitting in a circle together with our eyes closed. Lift up your hands with your palms open, facing forward, and let us all invite the divine presence to pour the flowering heart blessing through each one of us to all the others in the circle, as it flows back to us through all of them. Transform us. Draw us into oneness with you, with each other, and with all that Now you can just relax your hands in your lap. When you're ready, open your eyes and begin to make direct eye contact with Suzanne and or me. Just keep gazing at least one of our eyes as we dive into the light, open eye meditation. During this meditation, Suzanne and I are flooded with oceans of grace and love and light, and it's pouring out to you through every part of our being, especially through our eyes, the windows of the soul. As you keep gazing at our eyes, the light streams out of our eyes, in through your eyes, into your heart of hearts, causing the light of awakening and the fires of divine love burn brighter and brighter and shine brighter and brighter within you. All you need to do is keep looking and you see. just for a few more moments as the grace settles within you. Now keep meditating as long as you like, or you could lie in Shavasana. It's a beautiful and easy yoga pose. You just find a comfortable place and lie on your back. Close your eyes. Let your arms be loosely at your sides with your palms open, turned upward, and just dissolve in gratitude in the presence. It's a beautiful thing.
Much love, light, and blessings.
Love you so much. Until we cross paths again, know that the divine in us beholds the divine in you. And we bow to you.
Namaste.